What a fabulous way to start our ceremony. I declare open the ceremony for the conferment of degrees and other academic distinctions. Please be seated. So, welcome to the University of Stirling and our second winter graduation ceremony of 2023. My name is Jack McConnell. I'm the University's Chancellor, and it is my honour and privilege to preside over the ceremony today. This is our largest graduation ceremony of the year, with over 400 graduands. We're absolutely delighted to see you all here and to see so many friends and family with you too. But it might be a little bit of an endurance test with over 400 people here, so I hope you're going to be able to maintain the applause and the support and the cheering all the way through. I want to give a particular welcome to our platform party this morning. Members of the university leadership, academic staff, other officers of the university, our student officers who always join us on these occasions, and some distinguished honorary graduates too. And I want to give a special welcome to our distinguished honorary graduand, Monty Don, OBE. Monty will be familiar to many of you as the host of a range of gardening programmes on the BBC and Channel 4, including Gardener's World and the Chelsea Flower Show. He's also a celebrated journalist and advocate of environmentally friendly horticultural practices and of the healing potential of nature. And he has supported the fundraising efforts of several charities, including Bees for Development Trust and Farms for City Children. Monty will today be made a Doctor of the University in recognition of his outstanding contributions to horticulture, to broadcasting and to charity, and we'll be hearing a little bit more about him soon. Graduation is one of the great highlights in the annual university calendar, and it is of course a particular highlight for those who are graduating. I attended a graduation ceremony as a guest in London 3 weeks ago, and I was a little bit surprised. There was more noise coming from the audience in the gallery than there was from the students and their friends in the hall, and it seemed to me to be the wrong way round, really. People should have been, in the gallery, people should have been off their phones and not chatting to each other, and in the hall, people should have been cheering more. So we're going to rectify that here today. I like to have Stirling graduation ceremonies to be the noisiest in the country, and so from the very start today, let's make some noise and celebrate. This is a one-off moment. This is a one-off moment in your lives. So let's have a memorable ceremony that everybody can treasure forever. And to kick that off, I know that this has been a difficult 3 years, 4 years for those of you who have been studying during the pandemic and with all the other challenges over the past year or so. But I also know that your friends and your family will have been backing you up to get you to where you are today. So let's start off by thanking all of them who are with us today or watching on the website. Thank you. We've actually got 34 different nationalities graduating here today, which is a great statement of the internationalisation of this university and the rich blend of cultures and nationalities that make up our student body. Many of them had a passport to get here, but this degree is your passport to the future. And I hope that in celebrating today, you give a firm commitment that you will use what you have learned to lead and help shape your future, but all our futures too. We need minds like yours to help tackle the challenges that face us, from climate change and pandemics, to artificial intelligence and conflict, to poor health, and of course an ageing population. And I'm delighted to see such a mix of disciplines here today. Stirling has always mixed the disciplines better than almost any other university. And I know today we've got the next generation of nurses and midwives, of sports administrators and sportsmen and women, of economists, accountants and entrepreneurs. And the good news is that as graduates of this university, Your prospects are really pretty good. 96% of Stirling graduates are in work or further study within 15 months of graduating, one of the highest figures in the country. So you are going to be our future leaders and change makers, and you will be at the forefront of developing and informing innovative solutions to societal problems. And we're relying on you to make a difference, and in the university's slogan, to be the difference. We're particularly pleased today to welcome the first BSc paramedics at Stirling University. A new course developed in partnership with the local health service to fill a gap in local health provision. And we know that many of you already have placements and employment lined up, and we're delighted about that. And we look forward to cheering you when you come across this stage. As part of obviously the health situation, we have experienced that global pandemic over recent years, and your education was interrupted, and I'm sure you've had to develop significant levels of real resilience to get through to where you are today. I often look to Maya Angelou, the late American writer, for inspiration, and one of her most memorable quotes was that she said, "I can be changed by what happens to me, but I will not be reduced by it." And in your case, you were not reduced by this uncertain period in your life. Here you are, you're graduating, and you deserve everything that you've achieved to get here. My admiration for what you went through and how you've come out the other end is really, truly off the scale, and I'm sure that your family and friends share in the same sentiment. The university has also had to carefully chart its course during the pandemic, but we didn't just survive, we thrived. If you've been here over the past 3 academic years, you'll have seen the completion of the award-winning campus central development, where our reception will be today for all of you. This new sports centre, building on this amazing tennis centre that was opened nearly 20 years ago. These are fabulous facilities for students and staff, and we're very proud of the achievements of our sports scholars and other sporting individual contestants and teams. Our football team won Scottish Student Team of the Year this year. They reached the 4th round of the Scottish Cup, the first university team to do that for 50 years. They've had an incredible year. Stirling golfers won both the men's and the women's student golf titles in the UK. Our swimmers won medals at the World Championships this summer. We've even had success, perhaps remarkably for Scotland, we've had a successful cricketer and success in the Para-Nordic Championships as well. It's been a phenomenal year for Stirling sport, and we're very proud of everybody who's achieved those things on behalf of themselves and of the university. But these facilities are also used by the local community. We're rooted in the community here, and we take pride in that too. We're particularly proud that the university has been held by its peers as in the highest regard for teaching, employability, research, internationalisation, facilities and inclusiveness. In all 6 areas, achieving the maximum 5 stars in the QS Stars University ratings. We're first in the UK and top 3 in the world for campus environment. We're first in the UK and top 5 in the world for sports facilities. And we're top 30 in the UK for overall postgraduate student experience. Our first Chancellor, the first person to wear these robes back in 1968, Lord Robbins, he led out on the expansion of higher education across the UK and created the conditions for many, many more people of my generation to go into higher education and since. And I feel honoured to wear these robes, but he set the university 3 challenges. The first was that we had to be at the heart of the community. And this campus and this university has always been at the heart of the Stirling and the wider Forth Valley community. The second was to be innovative. And this university has always been innovative. It's still being innovative. It's still creating new opportunities with new ideas. In fact, some people say innovation is our middle name. And the third was to be international and always be outward-looking, never be inward-looking, always be outward-looking. And today, international students account for more than 1/3 of our student population. We have no fewer than 141 different nationalities in our student body. We teach internationally, we partner with institutions on dual degrees, No doubt we are an international university, and this enriches the fabric of the university and the experience for all our students and staff. I graduated from Stirling around 40 years ago, and at that time there was about 2,750 students. I think only maybe about 150 postgraduates. We're very new and still trying to survive in the early days, never mind grow. And a lot of challenges to what we were doing. People challenged the research base of the university that it was too new and not good enough to receive government funding. But the university overcame those challenges. Today we have 18,500 students globally. On research, 87% of the research carried out here is of the highest standard, achieving outstanding or very considerable impact on society. I saw it for myself just 3 weeks ago in Romania with Professor Andrew Tyler, where a Stirling University-led European-wide project, the DOORS project, which I'm sure you're going to hear about in the years to come, is using space technology, satellite technology, to help the Ukrainians find new water sources since that dam was blown up as part of the conflict there earlier this year. Amazing work by Stirling researchers and academics and students, and there are many, many more examples of that. So delighted to see the university breaking new ground on research and getting recognised for it. And none of that is possible without the hard work of all those staff and academics. And many of them, of course, are responsible for getting you to where you are today and getting your degrees. So let's thank all the staff of the university for their contribution to your success. And the final thing I'd like to say in introducing the graduation ceremony is just something about education itself. In the past few weeks, I have had my usual autumn busy travel schedule, and I've been in northern Kenya, Turkana County, northern Kenya, with UNICEF. I've been in Warsaw meeting with Ukrainian ministers talking about their reconstruction, hopefully after the war. And this week I was in Saudi Arabia talking to them about climate change ahead of the COP, which is taking place in December in the Middle East. And in all three locations, and everywhere else I've been this year, I'm struck by the fact that everybody knows, understands, and really believes that education is the thing that makes the biggest difference. That investing in education, investing in skills, investing in knowledge, and the development of challenging minds, and giving people maximum opportunities is the route to new opportunities to success and a better life. Education transforms health, it transforms the economy, it transforms individual opportunities. And when I was a student, we used to have campaign slogan, education is a right, not a privilege. But through the years, I've become convinced that it's a right and a privilege. So my final message to you today is to use it well. You should glow with pride from graduating from a university that is as good as this one. But remember that education, yes, it was your right, you've worked hard for it, but it's also a privilege. And make a point in the years to come of using it well and making a difference. Thank you very much. On to the ceremony. And first up is Professor Malcolm MacLeod. And I call upon Professor MacLeod to present Mr. Monty Don.
Chancellor, Principal, representatives of University Court, staff, graduates, families and friends. It's my great pleasure today to present to you for the honorary degree of Doctor of the University of Stirling, Mr. Montague Don, or, as he is better known to many of us, Monty Don. This doctorate is in recognition of Monty's outstanding contributions to horticulture, broadcasting and charity. A celebrated TV personality, esteemed author, and notable campaigner, Monty's work is highly regarded and no doubt will resonate with many of us in this graduation hall today who are keen amateur gardeners. His professional experience has taken him from the realms of creative writing and the media to campaigning for the environment and heightening our awareness of how gardening can enhance health and well-being. He kept many of us focused firmly on a brighter future during the dark days of the pandemic and provided something that we could look forward to on a weekly basis. One could even argue that Monty has reached that rare status in British life of becoming a bit of an institution, something that few have ever achieved beyond those in the pop or sports worlds. Indeed, as testament to his status as a 21st century icon, not only can you buy a prayer candle of Harry Styles, you can also buy a prayer candle of Saint Monty Don, presumably to be lit when your Brussels sprouts aren't growing too well. Monty grew up in Hampshire with roots that can be traced back to Scotland as a descendant of the esteemed Scottish botanist George Donne, who lived around about the same time as a certain Thomas White. And Thomas White was a student of the famous landscape designer Capability Brown. And White was responsible, around about in the 1790s, for setting out much of our magnificent estate on which the University of Stirling currently stands. And it's entirely possible that George Donne and Thomas White may have crossed paths given their botanical interests. Monty's love of plants and gardening is very much part of his DNA, and it was through his family that he formed his earliest connection with horticulture. When his mother's gardener suffered a back injury, it was a 7-year-old Monty and his brothers who stepped in to maintain the land. Indeed, what started out as a household chore evolved into a vocation, and it was during this period of Monty's youth that the seeds of his future were sown, quite literally. The path to success, however, has not been a straightforward one, and to get to where Monty is today, Monty has had to surmount life's many challenges with a great deal of resilience. After failing to get the A-level grades he needed, Monty showed dogged determination to get his longed-for place at Magdalen College, Cambridge, to read English. And he took night classes and he worked various jobs in order to achieve that. And that pugnacious streak has something that, has been something that's stood in good stead over the years. And in particular, the aftermath of the economic crisis in 1987. By the 1980s, Monty and his wife Sarah had a flourishing jewellery company. Indeed, some of their jewellery is held in the collections of the V&A. But unfortunately, their business was bankrupted by a financial crisis, and he and his wife lost virtually everything. But testament to Monty's character and the support of his wife Sarah, he emerged from this adversity to pursue his passions. One day, Monty was interviewed about his garden for a newspaper. His passion for the subject was infectious, and he was asked to write about other people's gardens, one of the catalysts for his successful and varied career. He has since written authoritative gardening columns for BBC's Gardener's World magazine, the Daily Mail, and has served as the Observer's gardening editor. He has also authored over 20 books, many of which focus on the importance of art and design in gardening and how we use and benefit from outdoor space. Monty regards himself as a professional writer who happens to do quite a bit of TV work as well. I think that's slightly an understatement. His warmth and expertise has led him to present many, many TV programs, including Monty Don's Paradise Gardens, Japanese Gardens, and Italian Gardens on the BBC, and Channel 4's Fork to Fork and Rio Gardens, to name but a few. However, Monty is perhaps known best for his role in BBC Two's Gardener's World, which he's hosted for the best part of 2 decades. His passions for the role of gardeners and gardening for the physical environment has had an enormous impact on British society and beyond. In particular, Monty's dedication to organic gardening and his advocacy of its benefits has inspired many to embrace more sustainable and eco-friendly practices. Similarly, his ability to talk openly about his own struggles with depression and seasonal affective disorders helped many people. Monty has valiantly campaigned to promote the therapeutic benefits of gardening for mental and physical health, and has championed the use of horticulture as a means of helping young drug offenders coming to terms with their addiction. He served as the president of the Soil Association from 2008 to 2018, and is involved in a host of charitable trusts, including the Bees for Development Trust, Alexander Pope's Grotto Preservation Trust, Farms for City Children, and Herefordshire Wildlife Trust. His considerable efforts in these areas, contributing to sustainable and resilient livelihoods and inspiring people of all backgrounds in the world of wildlife, were acknowledged in 2018 when he was honoured with an OBE, and more recently in 2022 when he was awarded the Victoria Medal of Honour by the Royal Horticultural Society. Monty's unwavering commitment to nurturing the natural world and harnessing its many benefits, alongside his tremendous resilience and tenacity, serve as a glowing example to us all. In the name and by the authority of the Academic Council, and in recognition of his outstanding contribution to horticulture, to broadcasting, and to charity, I present to you for the honorary degree of Doctor of the University, Montague, Monty Don.
I confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of the University. Congratulations. Thank you very much. So Dr. Monty Don will now sign the roll of honorary graduates, which has existed since 1968 and now has 431 honorary graduates in the book. Congratulations, Dr. Don. Now we go on to the awarding of degrees, and I'd like to welcome and call upon Professor Jane Donaldson of the Faculty of Health Sciences and Sport to present the candidates for awards. And I will confer upon these candidates the awards for which they are now presented. But I do want to just say something. As I was watching the first candidate walking around there and coming up the side ramp, I thought you might want to know that Helen Davis, who's about to become a PhD following her doctorate, has just walked over the last 10 days 200 miles from Wester Ross in order to be here as part of a personal challenge. So, Helen, before I congratulate you on your degree, I just want to congratulate you on being able to walk all those last few steps up the side there. Well done.
Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Academic Council, I present to you for the degree of Doctor of Nursing, Helen Davies. For the degree of Doctor of Professional Health Studies, Ho Ang An Yunang. Catherine Toft. For the degree of Master of Research, Health Research, Christina Marbpak-Gianni. Francis Beck. Catherine Cairns-Lehman. Gail Maddock. Petra Anitka Nikura. Zoe Whedon. Julia Helen Wolfe. For the degree of Master of Public Health, Aisha Azam. Sean Andrew Mayer. Jelly Ann Shona Petrie. Nicola Scott. For the degree of Master of Science Advancing Practice, Zareen Rahman. For the degree of Master of Science Advancing Practice Clinical Practice and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the Best Health Sciences Research Project, Andrew James Mill. For the degree of Master of Science Early Years Practice Health Visiting, Shelley Marie Moffat. For the degree of Master of Science Psychology of Sport, Shobham Lakkudha. John Neal. Benjamin Alexander Johnson Riches. Cameron James Stirling. Pranav Varanasi. For the degree of Master of Science Sport Management, Ian Brunton. Mark Carragher. Si-Wen Chen. Jack David Creera. Jayesh Gupta. Gregor Hines. Isha Ishak. Junwen Ji Yong. Ben Lambert. Keir Little. Jeremy Philippe Robert Lionette. Ryan Thomas Marr. Liam MacDonald. Andrew Allen McIver. Shubhankar Prasanna Mule. Dara Mulligan. Sing Wei Nang. Prathanban Salvarjaj. Becky West. For the degree of Master of Science Sport Performance Coaching, Jack Barnaby Emerson. Alec Felice Pecci. Peter Damien Lang. Stephen McGuinness. Rachel Jardine Mahehe. Charles George Ovie. Chris Payton. Callum Ross. For the Postgraduate Diploma Advancing Practice, Louise Doyle. Timwani Lucy Kali Malwendo. For the Postgraduate Diploma Advancing Practice Clinical Practice, Margaret Pauline Farrell. Gillian E. Gilchrist. For the Postgraduate Diploma Early Years Practice Health Visiting, Amy Buchanan. Jenna May Campbell. Jill Douglas. Nicola Margaret Duncan. Caitlin Elizabeth Jeffrey. Kirsty Kennedy. Rebecca MacDonald. Gemma Marney. Angela Masterton. Charlotte McFarlane. Emma Jane McGurk. Zoe Ann McIntosh. Lindsay Alexandra Mulrain. Sarah Monroe. Charlotte Standing. Stephanie Wytock. Sally Wright. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours Sports Studies, Dylan John McAndrew. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours in Sport Business Management, Kutla Aplar Gazelle. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours Nursing and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the Best Health Sciences Research Project, Claire Linus. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours Nursing, Julie Baranchira. Katrina Margaret Barber. Abby Bellingham. Bulu Rokoka. Carson Brown. Michelle Buchanan. Ana Dara Custodio Santos. Anfid Fajinmi. Hazel Gargan. Jasmine Maria Granger. Christine Margaret Guthrie. Jenny Alison Hogg. Emma Corner. Catherine Ijuma ECJ. Chelsea Kirkwood. Kirsten Larner. Becky Lanigan. Anna Maria Mati. Latuya Azuli Mileville. Mora Yuno Juzo Ayu Renzula Ola Tinji. Shola Oye Ni Ro. Isabel Patterson. Cora Maria Regan. Joanna Smith. For the degree of Bachelor of Science Nursing and the recipient of the R.G. Beaumont Award, awarded in recognition of clinical excellence, Lindsay Dougal. Fiona Ann Thompson. For the degree of Bachelor of Science Nursing, Joanna Patricia Adams. Matthew Florent Alim. Caitlin Jean Fairgrave Anderson. Caris Anderson. Stephen Arnott. Khadijat Arowana. Jane Bellingham. Ross Stewart Balmer. Catherine Barclay. Ashley Louise Barker. Keely Barr. Jenna Baxter. Lindsay Belshaw. Robin Eve Flynn Blackwood. Carly Ann Blair. Zoe Elizabeth Jane Blair. Elizabeth Brady. Nicola Bremner. Ashley Brown. Rebecca Buckley. Jennifer Page Burnett. Rachel Calder. John Cameron. Benjamin Campbell. Catherine Campbell. Kirsty Campbell. Molly Cannon. Molly Caper. Anne-Marie Cardwell. Eve Katanak. Nicola Kothira. Robin Clark. Julie Ann Connolly. William Connor. Shivani Kotakopen. Gillian Davis Crawford. Erin Sarah Cummings. Arlene Cummins. Danielle Curry. Shannon Carroll Curry. Katrina Davis. Aaron Derry. Tony Jane Docherty. Gary John Dolan. Kelly Dowling. Nicola Michelle Druett. Danielle Duncan. Eleanor Duncan. Ajiro Akokota. Caitlin Amber Evans. Savannah Fakney. Nicole Rebecca Fairley. Christopher Scott Fawcett. Charlotte Feely. Madeleine Ferguson. Niamh Fitzpatrick. Rebecca Flannery. Jodie Patricia Flood. Jade Ford. Emily Fowler. Lucy Freck. Lindsay Ann Fulton. Marvin Gary. Jamie Gibb. Jodie Goodwillie. Alex Elizabeth Graham. Magdalena Amelia Haas. Terry Halliday. Lauren Hamilton. Charlotte Ann Hanlon. Sarah Hassett. Jonathan Hastings. Julia Margaret Hines. Erin Hill. Stacey Mary Jane Hislop. Anna Maria Hogg. Walter Hogan. Claire Holden. Lee Horden. Quiva Highland. Rachel Louise Hind. Danny Pamela Ingalls. Suzanne Louise Parry John. Mary Catherine Johnson. Josh Johnson. Stephanie Jordan. Carrie Marie Canova. Catherine Mary Kelly. Natasha Elizabeth Kelly. Kaylee Margaret Kennedy. Natasha Kenny. Sinead Kerrigan. Aveen Kieran O'Brien. Jessica King. Megan Kinsella. Ailish Elizabeth Knowles. Rachel Margaret Lapsley. Roisin Leddy. Amanda Leach. Chloe Linning. Rachel Lynch. Gemma Lyons. Natalie McCuish. Lauren MacDonald. Ria Mackay. Kellyanne Mackenzie. Tallulah McNabb. Amanda McRae. Nadine Maria Malasco. Lucy Marshall. Yekaterina Martinova. Tara Maxwell. Demi McAllister. Roisin McBride. Lisa McCabe. Hannah Mabel McDowell. Tracy McElreath. Lindsay McLeay. Lauren McNabb. Lauren Mary Helen Catherine McNabney. Maria McNair. Leah Merrilees. Jodie Middlemass. Sharon Jane Minty. Megan Moore. Elizabeth Ann Morgan. Killian Morris. Jane Morrison. Laura Morrison. Rebecca Murphy. Alison Alisa Murray. Coral Neal. Catherine Gina McJan-Manzi. Colette Nunn. Leah O'Mahony. Rachel O'Regan. Jessica O'Shea. Kenya Chukwu Okafor. Osa Mo Ede Osari Emu. Jennifer Paget. Emma Elizabeth Patterson. Hayley Patterson. Logan Payton. Fern Catherine Patterson. Fiona Jan Peden. Lara Ann Petal. Agnes Ferry. Robert James Finlay Prentice. Jessica Prescott. Jennifer Ray. Rachel Ramsey. Chloe Ray. Marie Camille Reyes. Amy Rice. Joanne Richley. Abby Robb. Hayley Robertson. Amy Louise Robinson. Tegan Ross. Lara Maggie Runcie. Anya Rapsingha. Nathan Scott Russell. Shelby Sarah Samuels. Danielle Amy Scott. Jade Catherine Scott. Natasha Sharp. Sarah Smiley. Deborah Smith. Gemma Smith. Molly Smith. Jasmine Snedden. Marvin Speed. Courtney Maria Spence. Hannah Stewart. Dora Talosi. Megan Taylor. Megan McKinnon Thompson. Regan Towell. Catherine Mary Traynor. Simon Urey. Janelle Patricia Mendoza Viari. Jack Ward. Rebecca Weir. Chloe Taylor West. Fiona Wilson. Meg Wilson. Lara Victoria Wright. Nicole Wright. Lindsay Wyatt. Callistos Yonkwi Taimani. For the degree of Bachelor of Science, Paramedic Science, Saoirse Elizabeth Allen. Michael Burke. Michelle Cator. Matthew Devlin. Yvonne Docherty. Devlin Frew. Catherine Gregory. James Harley. Alexandra Bella Harrington. Emma Catherine Harrison. Elizabeth Hilton. Joseph Lupo. Ross MacDonald. Hazel McCubbin. Melanie McKinley. Rachel McLaren. Matthew Isaac McVie. Chloe Rachel Moran. Catherine Natalia Morley. Francis William Owens. Georgie Rafferty. Martin Rennie. Gillian Samantha Scott Mackay. Lindsay Senior. Jenny McLean Smith. Holly Jean Somerville. Lisa Tange. Ida Talgari. Roisin Toland. Christopher Walls. For the degree of Bachelor of Science Professional Practice, Lindsay MacLeod Kerr. Keep going. For the Diploma of Higher Education, Rebecca Catherine Louise Stewart. For the Certificate of Higher Education, Grace McIntyre. Kirsten Jennifer Scobie. For the degree of Master of Science Sport Management, Alina Hussain. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours Nursing, Rachel Gibbons. For the degree of Bachelor of Science Nursing, Mariama Mohammed Fatih. For the degree of Bachelor of Science Nursing, Julie Kennedy.
Professor Jane Donaldson, thank you very much. That was a lot of names. That was a lot of names. Well done. And congratulations, obviously, to everybody who's now received their awards. I'm just going to a wee bit slow here, just to give people time to line up, but also to give your hands a little bit of a rest. I'm sure that's been hard going, but let's keep it going for the final section of candidates. So we'll proceed now with the conferment of degrees and other academic distinctions, and I call upon Professor Kevin Grant of the Stirling Management School to present the candidates for awards, and I confer upon these candidates the awards for which they are now presented.
Chancellor, in the name and by the authority of the Academic Council, I present to you for the degree of Master of Science, Behavioural Science for Management, and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the Best Dissertation, Dirishti Anala Katik. For the degree of Master of Science, Behavioural Science for Management, Sajeh Al-Tub El-Faki. Gabriela Marrero. Manis Singh. Benjamin Peter Speck. Eleanor Anna Wilkinson Teal. Stephanie Elizabeth Warren. For the degree of Master of Science, Digital Banking and Finance, and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the Best Dissertation, Ilsa A. Kari Adri Paganin. For the degree of Master of Science, Digital Banking and Finance, Shah Govin Dagran. For the degree of Master of Science, Finance, and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the Best Dissertation, Dixon Kimuti Tai Rep. For the degree of Master of Science, Finance, Ifran Hussein Javariyai. Rishi Mita. Victor Rao Uyek Ukipi Udiago. For the degree of Master of Science, Finance and Data Analytics, and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize, awarded for the Best Dissertation, Brorik Noroma A. For the degree of Master of Science and Data Analytics, Bharat. Henry Mango Jose Ann. Awalare Weji Wahib Sen. Holland Ray Wahijibha Serhid. Okay. My apologies. For the degree of Master of Science, Finance and Risk Management, Caitlin Luini. Simran Shiri Rihesley Sail Ayan. For the degree of Master of Science, International Accounting and Finance, Abigail Alice Nafs. Deepa Un Nikrishi Ni Er. Praveen Paramod Ni Er. Nished Naresh. Richard Eric Taman Inie. Yang Jing Wang. For the degree of Master of Science, Investment Analysis, and the recipient of the Walter Scott Global Investment Management, awarded for the best performance in investment analysis, Oh My Joseph. Teresa George Ka Cha Prur Isla. Oh, sorry. Okay. For the degree of Master of Science, Investment Analysis, and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize for the best dissertation, Teresa George Ka Chupra Isla. Ayush Jamal Dalla. Vishal Vikek Jain. Kieran George McLean. Ross Andrew Mellon. Swarandeep Singh Saidu. Richard Elliott White. For the degree of Master of Science Marketing and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the best consultancy project, Vabavi Sharma. For the degree of Master of Science Marketing, Bazarat Omejumuki Adeshina. Hassan Ali. Usama Al-Jara. Nida Aslam. Angus Bendal. Wajahat Gul. Anu Gaga Jain. Prakishi Jain. Ning Glo Jin. Cheng Chung Lai. Rebecca Lipa. Cyan Liu. Miriam Memhud. Mutfur Hana Kiyu Rishi Shi. Ayesha Rizul. Suleiman Owetusi Sin Aryufe. 5. Mohammed Shan. Aman Sheikh. Saeed Abdul Rahman. For the degree of Master of Science, Marketing Analytics, Abdul Latif Abi Odu Owu Dili. Bushra Jiwa. Chung Ying Liu. Ulutabo Bai Loba Joseph Olatu Boson. Rushiska Aish Pawar. Owela Fun Milola Temipiti Osalu. For the degree of Master of Science, Marketing and Brand Management, and the recipient of the Research-Based Learning Prize awarded for the Best Consultancy, Andrea Kiwavas Ayanga. For the degree of Master of Science, Marketing and Brand Management, Mohammed Adi Ashrad. Mohammed Kusam Butt. Max Cow Benjamin Dabri. Dare Lee Healy Olalua. Martina Andrea Dicado. Yu Bing Deng. Inyang I O El Karadu. M. Kizer Ihaderius. Arju Shan Kar Kanan Jayu Yu Shankar. Wai Lai Li. Furang Suniji Emerald Lai Ji Do. Sana Mu Dasar. Olu Wa Tobi Emmanuel Ojo. Raja Ravi Shankara Ramoni. Priyanku Ma No Jays Shuvarna. Catherine Thomas. L.A. Wilson. For the degree of Bachelor of Accountancy with Honours Accountancy and Finance, Tom Gardner. Nathan Gray. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours Economics and Finance, Lily Dickinson. For the degree of Bachelor of Accountancy, Rachel Fitzsimmons. For the degree of Master of Science, Behavioural Science for Management, Zahir Ur Rahman. For the degree of Master of Science, Finance and Risk Management, Blessing Opiwami Famaji. For the degree of Master of Science, Investment Analysis, Halama Wurola Oliya. For the degree of Master of Science, Marketing Analytics, Sharu Chandel. Sayan Tande.
Thank you very much. It is not an easy thing to present these awards, especially, I know some people were late and we apologise for all of the traffic problems outside the university, but everybody eventually managed to get their award. So thank you, Kevin Granton. So this was the biggest graduation ceremony of the year, and we've managed to successfully make sure that everybody has their award. But there are 148 people who are graduating today from these classes who were not able to join us for whatever reason, perhaps gone back home if they live abroad, or maybe started a job, or not so well at this time. So many of them will be watching, and they do need to formally receive their degrees. So I confer upon those candidates listed in the official record who have satisfied the academic requirements and who are not present the awards for which they are qualified. They may be watching, so give them a cheer. Now, as a pretty hopeless amateur gardener, it gives me enormous pleasure to ask Dr. Montedon to address the Assembly on behalf of all those who have received awards today. Dr. Don.
I have to say I'm completely staggered by what I've just seen. Amazing, how wonderful that is. But anyway, Chancellor, Principal, members of the university, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here above all to say thank you. Thank you for honouring me with a degree for which all I had to do was live to be nearly 70 and turn up. Pretty good. That's how I like it to be. But the truth is, I'm the least important person here. This is your day. It belongs to you. You who have worked so hard and have had to go through so much over the last 3 or 4 years and have had to be determined and brave and resourceful and at times really struggle. And I do know about that, and I respect that so much. So well done. Congratulations. And I look back on my own days as an undergraduate, almost 50 years ago now, and I realized we had it so easy. Everything was paid for. We didn't have to worry about it. We didn't have any money, but we didn't care. We were sort of the privileged poor. We had everything we needed. We had time and opportunity, and the world seemed to be our oyster. And actually, a university education was a privilege. We felt like a privileged elite. Whether we behaved like it or not is another matter, but we certainly did. So everything was so much easier. And now all that has changed. But however hard you worked, however much you put in to reaching this day, I have to tell you that it's not the end of anything. It may not even be the beginning of anything. And for the record, in the last 50 years, not one person has ever asked me about my degree. The The piece of paper, the award, the gowns you're wearing, they're marvelous, and you should enjoy them, and you should celebrate as much as you can. But to be honest, that's not what university is about. That's not why you're here. That's not why you went through everything. It was, of course, for your education, for expanding your brain, for developing a hungry curiosity, for learning how to acquire knowledge, how to use that knowledge, how to share it and dispense it. And that is what is going to stand you in good stead. That's what you're going to draw upon, trust me, every day for the next 50 years. Not the type of degree you got, or how many awards you won or whatever, and those are not to be dismissed or diminished. But the experience of being educated at university is what is so valuable. And we live in a curious age. I mean, one of the things that I find really difficult about the modern age is that it is so judgmental, and everything is seen as so binary and so tribal, and if you're not with us, then you're against us, and if you're against us, you're wrong, and if you're wrong, you're the enemy. And the truth is, whether you like it or not, life is complicated. Life is grey and confused and a muddle, and inevitably almost everything is a compromise. Nothing ever goes to plan. I think it was one of the great scholars of the boxing ring, Mike Tyson, who said everybody has a plan until they're punched in the mouth. Well, let me tell you, you're going to get punched in the mouth metaphorically, probably often, and then all the best laid plans go astray. I know my own life, my entire life, has been unplanned, unexpected, unprepared. I got into television entirely by accident. I was working in the garden. I'd done a little bit of journalism. My business was collapsing around my ears, and that was my main concern at the time. And the phone went. No mobile phones in those days, so it meant rushing indoors. I could hear it ringing. So I ran indoors with dirty hands, nearly didn't answer it. And there was a researcher on the other end of the phone from a program I'd never heard of, called This Morning, saying that they'd seen my picture in a magazine, and would I come and do a screen test, because they were looking for a television gardener. And I said, no, not really, I wouldn't, because I don't want to be on television. And they said, oh, that's a pity. But of course, we would have paid you £100. So I said, well, I could reconsider. Perhaps. So I went along and I did a screen test, which involved reading the news off the autocue to become a television gardener. And that was the only job interview I've ever had in my life. And they said, okay, fine, turn up next week. So I did. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I did live television, 7 minutes. And I got away with it. And they asked me to come back the next week. And this went on for about 5 or 6 weeks. And I got paid £500 or £600. And I thought, well, okay, this is good while it lasts, but it clearly won't. And then I had a call to head office. And I thought, I've been rumbled. They found me out. They realized I do not know what I'm doing. And they called me in and they said, how would you like to do 30 10-minute films starting in 2 weeks' time? And I said, yes, because I have a philosophy in life that you always say yes, because then you find out if you were wrong, whereas if you say no, you'll never know if you should have done it. And they said, fine, could you send in a synopsis of all 30 films by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning? So on the train home, I wrote down 30 ideas, just scribbled them down, and that night I typed them up, and at 1 o'clock in the morning, I faxed them through. At 1 minute past 9, I got a phone call saying, yes, they're fine. They obviously hadn't read them at all. We made those 30 films, and I've been working in television ever since, and that was 30 years ago. And I met the producer after about 10 years, and I said, what did you see in me that gave me that opportunity? And I was fishing for compliments. I was thinking, you've got natural ability, you've got charm, you're wonderful. He said, oh, that's easy. We've been told that our budget for the gardening films was going to be taken away from us unless we could show that we had a plan for 30 films by midday that Friday. And you were the only person around. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time, even though I didn't know I was there. And that's how life works. You fall into things, and no doubt you fall out of them too. But what university does is teaches you how to respond to that, how to react to that, how to cope. And it teaches you to solve problems, because in the end, that's mostly what life is, whether they're private or public, to do with your work or your daily life. And please don't undervalue that. As you get older, that is the great gift that your years here have given you. And my advice, looking back over my life from my extreme old age, is always pursue what you love. Pursue your heart. Don't pursue money. Money's boring. People who chase after money are the most boring people on this planet. We all need money. But if you do what you love, and you work hard, and you give it everything, and you get up in the morning wanting to do something, money will come. I was very lucky. I found out what mattered to me completely by accident. I was 17. I've been gardening since I was a small boy because I had to. I gardened in the same way that somebody whose parents own a corner shop learns how to stack shelves, or somebody who is brought up on a farm learns how to muck out the cattle. And then when I was 17, and I'd been expelled from 2 schools, I'd had a difficult childhood. I was a troublesome youth. I rebelled. I fought. I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew I didn't like what I had. And I came home from school one day, and it was late March, early April. And it was a lovely, early spring day. That's day when, for the first time of the year, you start to feel a little bit of warmth. And I went outside to sow seeds in the vegetable garden, because by 17 I knew how to run a vegetable garden. I didn't want that knowledge, I didn't like it, but I knew it. And I worked the soil, and I prepared it, and I drew my fingers through the soil to create a rill in which to sow the seeds. And I poured the carrot seeds into the palm of my hand, and at that moment, I was filled with a kind of joy, an absolute absence of desire, because I had everything I ever wanted. And that was a weird feeling. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't expect it. I certainly didn't know what to do with it. And that night I had a dream. And I dreamt that my fingers grew deep like roots into the ground, down into the soil. I was rooted deep down. And I woke up contented. And ever since that day, I have known that the answer for me somehow lies in the soil. And that if I look after it, it will look after me. I suffered from depression. Not too bad nowadays, but I've had bad episodes and had a lot of medication and a lot of treatment. But the answer is always, for me, to get outside and get my hands in the soil, to plant, to nurture things, to grow things. And then that looks after me. And the point of telling you that is simply find the thing. It may come to you in a dream. It may come to you because you meet somebody casually. It may be something that you've wanted since you were a child. But don't let go of that. It will be the secret of your life. And that is the road to follow. And I was lucky. I found it early, and I've had the great good fortune to build a career and a life out of it that I love. And I hope the same for all of you. But you have to look for it, and you have to recognize it, and then when you find it, don't let go of it. Don't ever let go of it. And you've got a troubled world to deal with. Looking at you all come up there with the sense of expectation and pride and joy on your faces, you've got a tough road to go down. And my generation is partly responsible for that. And we have to help you. But I do believe above all else that you have the answer. You are the future. And I admire you so much for your wisdom, your energy, your love of life, and you will come through. You will make it a better world. I have absolute confidence in that. So look after this beautiful planet. If you can make a garden, that's a good thing to do. I'd recommend that. Look after each other. Be generous. Be kind. Try not to be judgmental. Be curious. Find out more. And above all, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me share your day. Thank you.
We've had some pretty good speeches from honorary graduates in the, 4 or 5 years that I've been Chancellor, but that was off the scale, Monty. Thank you very much. Words of wisdom, words of advice, incredible storytelling, and I hope that will remain with you all in the years to come. Universities and their success, much of which I mentioned earlier, don't happen by accident, and take lots of hard work from the staff, all the staff, not just the academic staff, but all the staff of the university. But they also take excellent leadership, and we have a very good leadership team in this university, headed by our principal, Professor Sir Jerry McCormack, and I'd like to ask him to speak to us at this stage in the ceremony. Jerry.
Thank you, Lord McConnell. He mentioned during his speech that he was at this university 40-odd years ago. What he didn't say was he was president of the Student Union. And most of you, especially those from Scotland, will know he was also First Minister here in Scotland many years ago. And now, as he said, he travels around the world doing fantastic work, both with the university, but more importantly, a huge amount of charitable work. And for having one of our own back here as Chancellor, presiding over these ceremonies, celebrating with everyone, is just fantastic. And Monty Don, I've got to say, that was, and reiterate what Jack said, that was one of the best graduation addresses that I've ever heard, and I've been to many over about 30 or 40 years of my career, so thank you very much for that. And good morning and congratulations to all the rest of you. I hope that it's a wonderful day, because we come together very specifically to celebrate all of your successes. Graduation is the highlight of our calendar, and today's ceremony is an important ritual and the culmination of your university experience. It's important for us to celebrate publicly your well-deserved achievements with your classmates, our teaching and professional support staff, and of course your family and friends. And in graduating, you join a multicultural global network of more than 100,000 Stirling alumni from 180 countries. I would encourage you to please stay in touch with us and with each other, wherever your next path takes you. And if you haven't already, I'd encourage you also to engage with the Alumni Association. Graduation is a bridging moment. It's a time to pause and look back on your achievements and to look forward to the road ahead. You might have noticed on the lecterns, and you'll see in your certificates, our coat of arms, which is reserved for special ceremonial events like graduation. It features 3 open books, signifying that the pursuit of knowledge is central to all we do. With its references to a tower and battlements and a river at full flood, the coat of arms also speaks of our historic city of Stirling. But there's another element within the coat of arms that's a powerful symbol of who we are and what we're about. A solid bridge with 7 arches spans the water. Of course, Stirling Bridge is a nod to our past, but it also says something about our purpose as a place of learning. Bridges connect places. They enable us to overcome obstacles on our path to reach our destination. They're good vantage points, and of course, bridges bring people together. Perhaps today especially, but also as you go through life, there will be times when you'll think back to being a Stirling student. You'll have your own memories and personal feelings about what the university means to you. Regardless of your vantage point, you can take confidence from the knowledge and skills you gained while studying here. Draw strength from the resilience you developed, and I hope think fondly of the friendships you made and the people that you came to love in this place. On behalf of the entire university community, I wish you all continued success in the future. Please do keep in touch. We'll always be waiting for you with open arms on this side of the bridge. Once again, many congratulations and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Jerry. It's been a long morning and hopefully one that you will remember. Before we close, I just want to say some words of thanks. Yes, all year round the university needs hard-working staff and fantastic students and great leadership to make it work. These ceremonies don't happen by accident either, and from Thistle Brass, who welcomed us in, to Dan the Piper, who's going to lead us out, to Lisa carrying the mace, Iona doing the certificates, those who try and make sure that the right people arrive at the top of the walkway at the right time to get their awards. Jane and Kevin and Malcolm for their introductions. All of the staff and volunteers that you'll see around the campus today. It's been a phenomenal effort to put on these ceremonies, and on your behalf I want to thank all of them for making it such a successful morning. So thank you very much. I know it has been a long morning, and I know some of you spent a lot of time in cars waiting outside to get into the campus. But please do wait in the hall and cheer the graduates out as they will follow the platform party and the rest of the day begins. Please enjoy the rest of the day, celebrate as much as you can. And this has happened to me once before. I've said that and people get up and leave. I was trying to say the exact opposite, sorry. So the platform party will leave, then the graduates leave, and you can all cheer them and wait until that happens and then follow them out. So that's the 3 sections to come. So please enjoy the rest of the day, have a fantastic time, and all the very best for the future. I can declare this ceremony for the conferment of degrees and other academic distinctions closed.